Hi there, I'm Alan. Welcome to my channel. If you're a Joycean and you found this, boy are you in luck, because we're reading Ulysses from February till April, and I'll probably do a May Ulysses hangover as well. We have a Voxer group. We go deep into this. If you're just looking for like something to do your paper on, Cliff Notes version, like we go deeper than English 101 Count 202. Required elective type stuff. It's not line by line, but it is deep. If you're up for the haul, please join us. Grab your Gabler, grab your Don Gifford, grab a couple pins, preferably a black and red one, and let's get started. Welcome back, welcome back. I'm glad you joined me. And if you want to join our Voxer group, hit me up. We talk about all kinds of things there and really go deep. It's Alan770, lowercase, will be in the description box below. And it's never too late to join the Voxer group. Well, it will be too late in May, but until now, from now until May, come join us. Alright, let's unpack this episode, Lotus Eaters. I'm going to get right into it because Dublin now is a character in this novel. Dublin, the city. We have Bloom walking around. It's 10 a.m. So, Lotus Eaters, Odysseus found himself on an island of Lotus Eaters, and they were intoxicated. He's the only one who stayed sober and got them back, but they wanted to stay in that good feeling, that lethargy, that lulled, sleepy kind of thing. But let's read the first sentence. By lorries along Sir John Rogerson's quay, Mr. Bloom walked soberly past Windmill Lane. And da-da-da-da-da. Well, not da-da-da-da-da. Let's, after that sentence comes the second sentence, could have given that address to. Then it's back to third person. And past the sailor's home, but he goes into first person there. Like, I could have given that address too. What address? Well, the Windmill Lane address. Because he's going to his post office box to receive a letter and doesn't want Molly to know about it. Notice how Bloom walked sober, just like Odysseus stayed sober. Now, let's see. Bethel, house of God. You know, Aleph and Beth. Beth means house. Aleph means ox, but it's the first letter. Bloom is on his way to a funeral of Patty Dignam. We have characters in here who, you can find them first in Dubliners, in the stories like A Mother, Ivy Day in the Committee Room, several appear in the story Grace. And so Bloom has this little card in his hat. He starts fiddling with the card, and he's putting it in different places. That card is to get into his like his P.O. box, basically. Okay, there's a lot of flowers, flowery language in this episode, because Bloom's going under an alias with this woman, and the alias is Henry Flower. Now, Flower comes from his original last name, which is Varig. His father was Rudolph Varig. He's going to appear in a few pages. And he was Jewish, so Varig means flower. That's where he's getting the last name from. So he's got the letter, and he finds something pinned on there, and it's a flower, but he throws away the pin. It's curious. line at 100, 1, 2, 3, 4. Women all for chase till you touch the spot. Next, Bob Duran, Baton Lions. Bloom has an underwear fetish. He likes stockings, garter belts, and he's almost to the edge of being a pervert in his voyeurism of women walking around. He meets up with Bob Doran, and he's got his letter that he wants to read. He's thinking about Patty Dignam's funeral. We have this little song in the middle on page 61. What is home without Plumtree's potted meat? Incomplete. I think Bloom can relate to that, huh? Mrs. Marion Bloom relates to the chapter before. That's Molly, Marion. Bold Hand. Blazes Bolin is coming to meet her at 4 p.m. Page 62 at the top. McCoy. I want to digress a bit. McCoy is in Dubliners, and he has a curious habit of borrowing people's luggage and then reselling it, and keeping the money. He's done that time and time again, so no one really likes him. They think he's a sponge. So Bloom, so there's that, and then there's Bloom wanting to read his letter. And he talks about Maui's tour. Who's getting it up? Double entendre things Joyce does all the time. And the drowning man makes an appearance again. It was at the end of Telemachus. And I think he made an appearance in Nestor too. Now here, with the paragraph, Mr. Bloom stood at the corner, we have the introduction to his father, Poor Papa. How he used to talk of Kate Bateman. They're talking about a play that his father liked. And he would quote the lines about Nathan's voice to young Bloom. Now, Varig, Bloom's father, committed suicide after the death of his wife. He converted to some Protestant denomination when he got married. Bloom's the one who converted to Catholicism to marry Molly. Okay. Wish I had met that McCoy fellow. Are we ready to dig into the letter? Now, this letter is very interesting to me. I think there's something new that I found in here, and it's possible scholarly article, or at least a small essay to go mail off to the James Joyce Quarterly, see if they'll publish it. But the letter at the bottom was 63. Why did you enclose the stamps? Now, this letter is the second one that Bloom has received from Martha Clifford. For Bloom made an advertisement for a secretary to help a literary man, and you'll find that at line 326 through 27. But let's unpack this letter for a second. So she wrote him a letter, he wrote back, and now she's writing back to him. So they've had a dialogue, and she's angry with him. She's pretending to be angry, says she's going to punish him because I do not like that other world. Should be word, it's a typo. Please tell me, what is the real meaning of that word? And we're trying to figure out, what is that word? I don't know what the word is. You are not happy in your house, you poor little naughty boy. We've come to the conclusion that she's calling Bloom a naughty boy because he's married. And she knows it, so he's told her something. There's another typo or mistake with, so now you know what I will do to you, you naughty boy, if you do not wrote. Now, in the Random House edition, and I'll bring this up on the screen, they have, if you do not write. So which is correct, Gabler or Random House? Another grammatically incorrect sentence. Henry dear, do not deny my requests before my patients are exhausted. Before my patience is exhausted. You've exhausted my patience. She's supposed to be a secretary. P.S. Tell me what perfume Molly uses. Well, for anyone interested, she uses Ponex, and you can find that at 13.1010. Now this next sentence, I'd like to get Roz from our group to read it. Maybe I can talk her into it, because it's the language of flowers. Just, you know, the bouquet, tulips, manflower, cactus, forget-me-nots, violets, roses, night silk, and others I can't pronounce. And Martha and Bloom are of the same class. What's this next paragraph? Paragraph at 270. Changed since the first letter. Wonder did she wrote it herself. Now that's an odd sentence. A girl of good family like me, respectable character, could meet one Sunday after the rosary. Thank you, I'm not having any. Just so great. Thank you, I'm not having any, like communion. Oh, thank you, I'm not having any. Okay, a little song about Mary lost the pin in her drawers and Bloom threw the pin out. To keep it up, to keep it up, to keep them up, they mean. To keep it up. Henry Flower. Long, long rest. So we're getting into this lethargical. Henry wants a massage. He's looking forward to relaxing. He's thinking about a lot of things. I might have tried to work McCoy for a pass to Mulligar to see Millie. Pass for the train. Martin Cunningham. He's in Dubliners. Okay, I'm on page 66, where Bloom goes into the Catholic Church, and they're having communion. And it's pretty much what goes on, how they do it, and what they think. It's kind of funny, the INRI, and you see that on crucifixes, and Bloom thinks it's iron nails ran in, because Molly told him that. And IHS is on the back of the priest's clothing. He thinks it's I have sinned, or I have suffered. We have more, she might have been here with a ribbon around her neck, and do the other thing all the same on the sly. Talking about Martha in the letter. So he would consider meeting this person. Bloom is an outsider, but he's the ultimate observer, isn't he? On page 68, we have a nice description of a confession, a woman's confession, and starting on at the top, confession, everybody wants to. Then I will tell you all. Penance, punish me, please. Great weapon in their hands, in the hands of the priests, in the hands of the church. more than doctor or solicitor. Women dying too. And here's some onomatopoeia. And I and did you she's whispering to the priest. And why did you? Look down at her ring to find an excuse. Whispering, gallery walls have ears. Husband learned to his surprise, God's little joke. And just sentence after sentence you can unpack. Down at the bottom, he's on to Sweeney's. It's now 10:15 a.m., quarter past. Sweeney's is still there in Dublin. I'll put a little thing up of the soap. You can get the soap for $20 if you're so inclined. Description of Molly, and on 69, around 495, brings out the darkness in her eyes. Looking at me, the sheet up to her eyes, Spanish, smelling herself, etc. Molly was born in Gibraltar. She has Spanish blood in her. And here's the interaction with the chemist at Sweeney's. They're talking. Bloom has forgotten his money. Now the chemist, Molly asked him to pick up some lotion that she always gets, and the chemist has the recipe for that. And Bloom picks up the soap, but he doesn't pay for it. He says, I'll come back and pay for it, and they allow him, because he's got that rapport, that reputation with the people in Dublin. Let's see, Turkish massage, do it in the bath, curious longing eye, water to water, combine business with pleasure. Well, he's obviously thinking about masturbating in the tub. Bantam lions, yellow, black-nailed fingers. He appears in Ivy Day in the Ivy Day in the committee room. On 70, line 531, get your red pens out. And Bloom finally gives away his paper he's been carrying around like a baton. And you keep it, Mr. Bloom said. Ascot, gold cup, wait. Bantam Lyons muttered. Bantam Lyons is talking here. He's saying, Ascot, gold cup, wait. Half a mo, maximum the second. These are horses running in the race that day. Bloom says, I was just going to throw it away. Bantam Lyons raised his eyes suddenly and leered weakly. What's that? His sharp voice said. I said, you can keep it, Mr. Bloom answered. I was going to throw it away that moment. Bantam Lyons doubted an instant, leering, then thrust the outspread sheets back on Mr. Bloom's arms. I'll risk it, he says. Here, thanks. Sped off towards Conway's counter. Godspeed, Scott. He's going to place a bet. Bloom just arbitrarily gave him a tip. It's going to come up later in the novel. I hope it's not too much of a spoiler, because it's really a cool little piece of writing. And we have Bloom in the bath. Donnybrook is a little south of Dublin, walking distance. I lived in a house there. I won't digress into that story. In Donnybrook, Dublin 9. Enjoy a bath now. So he's in the bath and he's naked and he's looking at his pubes floating, and he looks at his penis around the limp father of thousands, a languid floating flower. So join us again where we're on to Hades, the funeral scene, and I'll have much to unpack in that. So until then, cilantro.